This is Tracking the Tropics with Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel, Kevin Smith, and Danielle Giuliano. Tracking the Tropics, a Storm Tracker team special.
Welcome aboard and welcome to our 2019 Hurricane Special, Tracking the Tropics. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel alongside meteorologist Danielle Giuliano and meteorologist Kevin Smith. For the next 30 minutes, we'll have all the information you need to get ready for this upcoming hurricane season. We'll start things off with a recap of the 2018 hurricane season that caused extreme damage and retired 2 names from the hurricane list. The first name was retired from 2018 was Hurricane Florence. Florence took aim at the Carolinas in early September, making landfall in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, causing catastrophic flooding and storm surge. The slow-moving storm even made the city of Wilmington into an island for a few days before crews could get in and clean up all of the debris. Hurricane Michael was also retired after it made landfall as a Category 5 hurricane along the Florida Panhandle, with winds sustained of 160 miles per hour. The major hurricane flattened parts of the Florida Panhandle, which are still recovering today.
Being prepared. It's one of these things that, sometimes you'll have the notice, in the case of Florence, you get 10 days plus. You watch the wave come off Africa. You watch it come all the way across the ocean. That's not always the case. So there's going to be situations like Michael where you only have 3 or 4 days. Not every system is going to give you that kind of notice. So it's all about preparedness.
And regardless of the forecast, it only takes one bad hurricane to make it an active year.
Yeah, that's right, Jesse. The 2018 hurricane season was Ken Graham's first year as director of the National Hurricane Center, and it was a year for growth. Graham hopes to shift the focus to communication and the impacts of the storm to the public. The Saffir-Simpson scale goes off of the storm winds, and believe it or not, the leading factor to loss of life during hurricanes is due to water. Category
1 hurricanes since 2010 have done, it's over $100 billion worth of damage and killed over 170 people. Category 1s. It's not about the category. We have to focus on these impacts because that's what's hurting people.
And this year, Graham wants to shift his focus to the impacts of the storm. He wants to be real, transparent, and make sure the community understands the risks of the approaching storm. And over the past few years, forecasting materials have improved, allowing meteorologists to more accurately predict these tropical disturbances. Right now, the National Hurricane Center forecasts a 48-hour and a 5-day outlook for the tropical cyclones, and they tend to issue tropical watches and warnings generally within 36 to 48 hours before impact. The NHC also issues advisories and track forecast cone a few days before the cyclone makes landfall.
For every mile of coast that's evacuated, it costs millions of dollars. $1 to $2 million per mile, and we can take each county out of the area. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars that can be saved, and that's why it's important to make those forecasts better and better.
And with the National Hurricane Center focusing on the local impacts and communication with the community, this should help us pinpoint the storm upon arrival.
And every year, hurricane researchers at Colorado State University come out with their own hurricane forecast. That's right. This year, researchers focus on whether or not we will experience an El Nino or not. And El Nino means warmer than normal temperatures, these water temperatures, in the central and eastern Pacific, which can impact our hurricane season immensely.
Right now we have weak El Nino conditions, and our forecast is premised on the fact that those will continue, but obviously if El Nino were to go away, which there is certainly that possibility, that would probably lead us to increase our numbers.
We're also monitoring water temperatures in the Atlantic closely. Cooler water temperatures limit any tropical development and cause the atmosphere to stabilize, while warmer water temperatures act as fuel for tropical development. Now, being prepared before a hurricane means the difference between you being a hurricane victim or a hurricane survivor.
It's important to determine the risk for your area, rather it be dangerous winds, high storm surge, inland rainfall, flooding, or even tornadoes.
GetAGamePlan.org is where we encourage everyone to go. Families, children, there's a part for, as well as businesses, so you can recover, stay safe, come back home, and get back on their feet.
GetAGamePlan.org offers a ton of resources to help Louisiana prepare for the storm. You can find everything for a list of supplies you'll need, evacuation guides, and a way to sign up for alerts.
Yeah, Danielle, all good information. And as the storm moves closer to land, the National Hurricane Center will issue watches and warnings. So it's important to know the difference between the two. For instance, a hurricane watch means that conditions are favorable for the hurricane to impact our area. A hurricane warning means that you need to take action because the hurricane is going to impact you directly. Although storm surge is not always a huge concern for us here in the Baton Rouge area, coastal communities need to pay very close attention to storm surge forecasts, storm surge watches, and storm surge warnings. A storm surge watch is defined as the possibility of life-threatening flooding from rising water levels moving inland somewhere within the specified area, generally within 48 hours, in association with a subtropical, tropical, or post-tropical cyclone. A storm surge warning means that those same conditions are likely in the next 36 hours.
And to stay on top of all tropical watches and warnings, you can go to the App Store or Google Play and download the BR Proud app. You can click on the Weather tab and then click on the words Hurricane Tracker. This will bring you to a page that shows you local tropical watches and warnings, tropical satellite and radar, and the track of the storm. And as always, you can go follow the Storm Tracker team on all social media platforms for the most up-to-date information. And coming up, I caught up with those at the Red Cross to talk about the essential supplies you need to be prepared before the storm strikes.
And we'll show you the importance of having your roof and trees checked before the brunt of hurricane season arrives. And your first hurricane prep tip is assembling disaster supplies. Make sure you gather up all the necessary materials needed to stay safe for at least a 3-day period, including food, water, flashlight, medications, and important documents. More on what you should have in your emergency kit coming up right after this break.
Welcome back. I'm joined here with Stephanie Wagner from the Red Cross, and we're going to be going through a few items you need in your home to get prepared for hurricane season. Stephanie, kind of take me through what we have laid out on the table here.
So what we have right here is kind of the essentials that you need in your emergency preparedness kit. And this is an important thing for both during hurricane season and kind of year-round in the event of an emergency. So we have first our hygiene essentials. So you want to make sure that if you're going to be leaving your house, evacuating, or potentially out of water or out of electricity for an extended period of time, you want to have ways to kind of stay clean and have those hygiene items ready. You also want to make sure that you have a first aid kit. So in the event that there are any kind of injuries, any kind of damage to property, you can make sure that you take care of that right away and you don't need to worry about going to a hospital facility because travel may be difficult during a hurricane or during an emergency. A whistle is also a really good thing to have. So in the event that you do get trapped somewhere, those
are
who
little
are
things people don't really think about.
Those are one of the items that people don't think about, but it can help rescuers get to you in a quicker amount of time. A flashlight. So this is a little one that you can actually have in your back pocket and kind of keep on your person. Yeah, versus one of these, which will, you'll need to have these in the house and in your emergency kit as well. But this is a little easier if you're going to be traveling, per se, at night or to have even in your car in the event of an emergency. As far as water is concerned, you want to have 1 gallon per person per day. So these are a really nice way to transport water and an easy way to do so.
2.5 gallons.
Yeah, you take it out of the plastic, you fill it up, you can put it in a tub, you can keep it in a vehicle, you can keep it in a bathtub if you need to. And that's an easy way to have 5 gallons of water readily available. Another really important thing is to have a weather radio. So you're going to get the alerts from the National Weather Service. You'll know what's going on in the community, especially if you do lose power. This one in particular has both a solar component as well as a crank component, so you can put in some batteries and it'll give you all the information that you could possibly need from both the emergency officials as well as the National Weather Service on what the heck is going on.
Oh, it also has back here, we had found out earlier, that you can USB charge things. So not only is it solar powered, battery powered, crank powered, but if you lose power on your phone, you could charge it too. So that's very, very convenient.
When you're packing your emergency kit, you also want to keep your kids and your pets at top of mind. Going through an emergency like a hurricane or having to evacuate or, again, losing power for an extended period of time, it can be traumatic. So you want to have things that'll offer kind of creature comforts for your kids. Things like toys, as well as coloring books, and just things that'll keep them occupied and keep their mind off of what's going on. As far as pets are concerned, if they're on any medication, you want to make sure you have their medication with you. You also want to make sure you have food and water for them as well. And again, some toys, something to kind of keep them occupied, and some sort of way to transport them, whether that's a cage or some sort of carrier, in the event that you do have to leave your home.
And I found online kind of a way to involve your kids in this process is kind of create a game for them, kind of create a list and say, hey, go through the house, see if you can find these items. What are some of those items that people don't really think of, but they usually have in their house that they can just go ahead, get ready, grab, maybe create like a scavenger hunt for the kids to put in the bag to be prepared?
Well, flashlights are a really easy thing, as most of us have these in our homes already. We also have extra batteries, which are extremely important in an emergency. So just in case that flashlight's out of battery, you're not going to be without light. So that's one first step in that scavenger hunt process. You can also go through your pantry and pick some canned goods that, again, easy open. Make sure you have a can opener in the event that it does require one. But the kids can go through and kind of see what they already have in the pantry and what they would need to utilize to eat in the event of loss of power for an extended period of time.
Yeah, and does the Red Cross offer anything? Some people are really busy, they don't want to go out and buy everything. Are there places where they can buy a kit?
Yeah, you can actually go to redcross.org on our online store and you can purchase a kit. This is one of the more kind of robust kits that we have. This is for a family of 4, but you can purchase everything down to the individual pieces if you'd like to purchase them individually, or you can just buy a kit for yourself, or you and your husband or you and your girlfriend, and that'll kind of get you started.
Because this thing is huge.
It is.
It's really
massive.
Big duffel bag. We've got some extra stuff in here.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of water stuff.
Yeah, so again, because it's packed up for a family of 4.
Ponchos. These are always very important. I talked about these yesterday too. I was like, if it's a hurricane, it's most likely raining outside.
Absolutely. And another thing that we think about here in Louisiana, but maybe other places don't, you need bug spray.
Yes.
Because once a hurricane is passed, everything is going to be wet and those bugs are going to be coming out in full force. So instead of having being covered in calamine lotion because you've got mosquito bites everywhere, make sure you have bug spray.
Bug spray is an essential one too. So, all right, and I see we have food rations in here too. So there are all sorts of things that you need to get prepared at your home. So again, thank you for joining us at the Red Cross for this segment, but we're going to get it back to you.
And thank you, Danielle. Obviously, if you didn't get all that information, just go to our website, brproud.com, for a complete list. And if you have to evacuate, it's going to happen fast, so have that game plan ready to go. It's very crucial, not only for you and your family, but also for your pets as well. Make sure you pack plenty of food and water, a pet first aid kit, a bed to stick in the car, toys to keep them occupied, and it's important to make sure that they are up to date on their vaccinations. If your pet is on medication, make sure they pack a prescription and also bring a refill just in case. You can also create an identification file for each pet. Last but not least, create a list of pet-friendly hotels along your evacuation route. All right, coming up, who do you turn to for your tropical updates? We'll give you a list of trusted sources to get your information before disaster strikes.
And Jesse, a strong storm can cripple any town by knocking out cell service. We'll find out what companies do to bridge the communication gap.
And our next preparedness tip is strengthen your home. You can do everything from trimming trees, getting safe window coverings, tying down loose items outside, and finding a safe place for your vehicle. On the other side of this break, Jesse Gunkel will take us step-by-step on preparing your home. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. When we say make a game plan, we usually think about the items we need to grab for an evacuation. However, you need to evaluate your house and especially your roof. It's your safety net when it comes to protecting your most prized possessions.
You can have wind damage on your roof and not even know it's there.
Your roof is the first line of defense against driving rain and the high winds of a hurricane. When it comes to peace of mind, always get your roof inspected by a professional.
Estimates and inspections for damage are free, yes.
They'll find the hidden damage that could lead to a leaky roof.
So from the ground, you're like, oh, my roof's fine. But if you get up there, you can just walk, you can just take your finger and lift shingles.
Get the trees trimmed around your house. Many roofs are damaged by falling limbs. Call an arborist if you're worried about the stability of the tree.
Because once those limbs, I mean, if they come down and they hit your roof, I mean, at that point, water's coming in for sure. Gutters, you may need to get them cleaned out. If the gutters are clogged up and the water backs up, it can actually back up under the shingles and get into the house.
Also, make sure you're getting the extra features that will protect the longevity of your roof against the wrath of a hurricane.
Wind rating on a 3-tab shingle and the wind warranty is up to 60 miles per hour. On an architectural shingle, it's 130 miles per hour. So you're getting 70 extra miles per hour for a very minimal cost.
It's the little things that make a difference. Ask your contractor if they are placing 4 or 6 nails in every shingle.
Code is different in the different areas. Baton Rouge, in that area, it's 4 nails per shingle is code. Once you get around New Orleans, Morgan City, Homa, it becomes 6 nails.
Find out if they're using a nail gun or a hammer.
Instead of using nail guns with air compressors that sometimes will blow through the shingle, so what we do is we hand nail. Every shingle that we nail on, they actually hand nail it.
Remember, the condition of your roof plays a big role in the safety of what's underneath. Having a solid roof can provide additional protection for your family and your important valuables. And experts also suggest using a starter shingle instead of reversing the shingle. It creates a better seal against hurricane force winds. And don't be afraid to get your roof inspected after a hurricane passes. There could be some new hidden damage not visible from the ground.
Very important information. Now, tropical storms and hurricanes can produce havoc not only for cell phone users, but cell companies as well. Now, here's a look at what they and you need to know for the upcoming tropical season. 90, 100, or even 150 miles per hour can do a lot of damage, especially when it comes to cell towers. We asked AT&T how they respond to tropical storms and hurricanes.
Well, when the event hits, depending on the type of event, you could potentially have wind and or flooding damage to our infrastructure. Cell towers could be impacted from a power perspective, they could be impacted from a transport perspective, or they could be physically damaged.
Also, cell companies are now using drones to bring back service following a hurricane.
We use a version of a drone called a flying cow. It goes up approximately 400 feet in the air.
The drones radiate a cell signal just like a normal cell tower to help recover communication.
And it would help us recover local communication in that environment. It could be supporting public safety for search and rescue functions, things of that nature.
There are steps that can be taken before a tropical storm or hurricane, such as charging devices and always keeping backup batteries, purchasing a waterproof case, and downloading emergency apps. It is always important to plan ahead before the next storm strikes. Now, restoring cell phone and internet service is always important before and after a storm. Now, for example, according to the Federal Communications Commission, about 1,000 cell towers were knocked out during Hurricane Katrina. That's that K word we don't like to mention here. And back in 2017, Harvey damaged 360 towers with 200,000 homes losing service. Always good to prepare, Danielle.
Yeah, that's great information, Kevin. In today's day and age, social media, fake forecasts, and extremely hyped forecasts can often get more likes and retweets than accurate information. Remember, anyone can make a fake forecast at home, and it could go viral in just a few hours, even minutes, spreading false panic. Make sure the forecasts you're using come from familiar sources, such as local meteorologists like your Storm Tracker team, verified government accounts, and the National Hurricane Center. And coming up, we take you through this year's hurricane outlook from both the Colorado State University and the National Hurricane Center.
And when tropical cyclones are quickly approaching, you have to act fast under a great deal of pressure. That's why it's important to complete a written plan. This step-by-step plan would tell you where to go, where to bring, what to bring, and how to act before the storm strikes. Now, after the break, we'll show you this year's National Hurricane Center's 2019 hurricane forecast, so everyone just stick around.
Well, Welcome back. We've spent the last half hour giving you the tools to prepare for hurricane season. And now it's time to touch on what the NHC is forecasting for the 2019 hurricane season. NOAA predicts a near normal 2019 Atlantic hurricane season. El Nino and a warmer than average Atlantic will help shape this season's intensity. The National Hurricane Center is forecasting a 70% chance of 9 to 15 named storms. Of those, 4 to 8 will become hurricanes with top winds of at least 74 miles an hour. This includes 2 to 4 hurricanes becoming a major hurricane, a Category 3, 4, or 5.
Preparing means reviewing and creating your emergency evacuation plans and gathering your supplies. It only takes one landfalling hurricane to cause great destruction to a community.
This forecast is consistent with those that were released earlier this year.
And the forecast from Colorado State, which is another forecast, has many similarities to the forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Researchers are predicting a slightly below average 2019 Atlantic hurricane season. As of April, the forecast calls for 13 named storms, 5 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes. That's a Category 3 and above. And experts at Colorado State will issue their new update coming out on June 4th. Well, we've already crossed one off the list. Andrea was the preseason storm fish that sat in the central Atlantic. It had a very short life. However, it was nice. It was a nice reminder that hurricane season is officially here. And our next named storm will be Barry. The list also includes Aaron, Jerry, and Wendy.
Very interesting. Hopefully we want to get to the Greek alphabet.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Well, make sure to stay with us and connect for the entire season with us, the Storm Tracker team.
That's right. We've got multiple tools to keep you up to date on potential tropical threats.
And once again, thank you for joining us. Make sure to have a game plan and please stay safe this season.